Network presents the DC TV 4-H Evening News Program for March the 11th, 2019. Dan is on his vacation, his holiday, so you are spared the latest saga of the New York Jets report. He'll catch us up to date when he returns. Our camera person is Devin. Video and sound engineer and producer Lynette. Prompter and teleprompter Myra. News anchors Austin and Daniel. Meteorologist Hannah. And this is news director LL really scrambled M. And now the news.
All right, welcome to the DC Kids Evening News Show. Before we get started, we want to say hi to Dan Fernandez. He's somewhere in Asia, so if you run into him, tell him hi. Help us keep our news show on the air by becoming a sponsor. You can buy a sponsorship by calling 970-677-4119. That's 970-677-4119. Now for the news. Okay. Hi, I am Austin, and our first story is from the Denver Post. A tenacious bald eagle in Frederick illustrates wildlife's fight to survive along Colorado's increasingly developed Front Range. Development along Colorado's Front Range is destroying wildlife habitat, but one large bald eagle recently seen copulating with her mate atop a gnarled old cottonwood tree has proved tenacious in the face of bulldozers, traffic, and fracking. The eagle lost a previous mate to power line electrocution 3 years ago. Nests in 2 cottonwoods were ruined after home builders pulled down one tree and the other collapsed, killing 2 eaglets that fell within weeks of learning to fly. Above this latest nest on a recent morning, the eagle looped across a heavy blue-gray sky, then hunkered back down, head snapping right and left, eyes scanning in every direction as it buffeted by blowing snow and a 17-degree temperature that threatened to freeze 2 new eggs. Most nesting female eagles are pretty tenacious, but this one is committed, determined, and undeterred as they come, said Donna Bove, a retired federal geologist who was watching the eagle through a scope as part of the Front Range nesting bald eagle studies. If you are in filling wildlife habitat, as we are in some of these areas, with 2,000 homes over there, the Wyndham subdivision there, oil and gas over here, 2 mom and pop projects to build houses here, all of a sudden there's no space left for these birds to sustain a nest. That's what is happening throughout Colorado's Front Range, not just for eagles, but all kinds of wildlife. Even for species that receive special protection under federal and state laws, survival is increasingly precarious as subdivisions and fossil fuel production transform once teeming wildlife habitat in Colorado to meet human needs. One species able to habituate stand a chance. 2 federal laws protect bald eagles, the Bald and Golden Eagle Protection Act and the Migratory Bird Treaty Act. The Endangered Species Act protects other species along Colorado's Front Range, such as Preble's metal jumping mouse. Colorado Parks and Wildlife has designated the northern leopard frog and burrowing owl and other as species of special concern, declaring conservation of their habitat along the Front Range rivers a priority, and state and federal wildlife laws also protects Colorado's whooping cranes. But U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service and state wildlife officials interviewed by the Denver Post said that far more than enforcement of laws, local land use decision-making will determine whether wildlife and habitat survive. Colorado's current growth and development boom. This story is from the Denver Post. Now Daniel.
Time to end time. Changes in Colorado. Former lawmaker launches effort. A petition drive was launched Monday to end Colorado participation in the biennial changing of clocks that comes with daylight savings time, calling it a disastrous policy. The week after spring ahead will see increasing car crashes, heart attacks, and other health problems. Senator Greg Brophy, a Republican who represents parts of eastern Colorado in the House and Senate between 2002 and 2015, wrote in the online petition Monday, "Kids and adults all suffer unnecessarily." He introduced legislation in 2011 and 2013 to end Colorado practice of changing clocks twice a year, but it failed to garner enough support. Brophy hopes to petition for ending this madness will compel legislators to write a ballot measure to stay on so-called summertime, the time we are on now, following Sunday spring forward. The movement to end clock changing at a national level got a thumbs up Monday from President Donald Trump, who tweeted, "Making daylight savings time permanent is okay with me." Arizona and Hawaii do not participate in daylight savings time. U.S. Senator Kristen Sinema, Democrat Arizona, bragged about her state exemption on Twitter over the weekend. "Just my half-yearly reminder that Arizona is too smart for daylight savings time, so we'll sleep well and don't worry about the clock thing." This story is from the Cortez Journal with Little Green Lion.
Sabito living in a very challenging time in Mancos Sanctuary. After 600 days in sanctuary at the Mancos United Methodist Church, Rosa Sabito said she needs an answer. Days before a vigil on Saturday, U.S. Rep. Scott Tipton denied Sabito's request for the lawmaker to sponsor a private bill to provide a path to permanent residency for the Mexican national who has lived and worked in Cortez for 30 years. "I am not ready to give up," Sabito said in an interview. "I am here to stay and fight until the end, until I exhaust every single opportunity." In May 2017, Immigration and Customs Enforcement informed Sabito that her application for a one-year stay of removal was denied. She was ordered to leave the country or face deportation. Instead, she sought sanctuary at the United Methodist Church. With a denial from Tipton, Sabito said her only other option to living legally in the United States is to pension another legislator to sponsor a private bill. She said she may have to wait until the end of the year or until the next election. "I need some action on their behalf," Sabito said. "The past 600 days have not been easy." She said she lives in an enclosed space with uncertainty. She isn't free. She can't take care of herself. She can't be a productive member of society. She left her real life behind, and now almost every day is the same. "I am living in a very challenging time and just trying to get through." Sabito said about 30 people at the United Methodist Church on Sunday. "It's just through that I am remaining strong," she said. Tipton's office in Durango did not respond to a phone call on Friday, seeking commitment on the denial. Mancos United Methodist Church pastor Craig Paschal said a staffer informed him that Tipton would not sponsor a private bill but would continue to support her in other ways. This story is from the Cortez Journal with Little Green Lion.
Old timers remember their rose in western La Plata's avalanche. The February blizzard had lasted 6 days when the avalanche got loose, cascading down the west side of La Plata mountains and sweeping everything in its path. 5 miners and the female camp cook disappeared into the white death as the snowslides destroyed the Doyle Hesperus mine. The dozen survivors and 2 injured men remained cut off from the outside world and without food. The avalanche claimed not only 6 lives but also every ski and snowshoe in camp, except one broken pair at dawn. The next day, amidst deep, dangerous white powder, 0-degree weather, and intermittent smaller slides, Ben Hartley set out for a grueling 10-hour, 60-mile race to Mancos to get help. 79-year-old Homer Hartley lives in Cortez to tell the story. He showed me yellowed front page editions of the Denver Post and faded family photos in black and white taken with a Kodak box camera. He gave me a journal his father had kept. The penciled lines provided insight into his careful carpenter with only a 6th grade education, upon whose shoulders had fallen the immense task of searching through the avalanche for unusable supplies, as well as victims buried beneath 12 feet of snow. The snow did not give up the last man, Parley Jensen, until April 30th, 1934. He was found down the ravine and up the other side under a piece of galvanized roofing. This summer, writer of the article went to hike to the Doyle Hesperus mine to look at Jackson Ridge and think about winter avalanches. I will pay my respects to the dead, but I also want to remember local heroes, the Mancos volunteers who risked their lives to dig for friends and relatives, and Ben Hartley, who stayed at that broken and lonely mine until the last body was found. Now for Dumb Laws with Hannah.
Our dumb law segments are actual laws still in the books in many states, cities, and municipalities. Dumb laws in South Carolina. A permit must be obtained to fire a missile. A railroad may not remove itself from a town of more than 500 people. It is illegal to give or receive oral sex in South Carolina. Fortune tellers are required to obtain a special permit from the state. When approaching a four-way or blind intersection in a non-horse-driven vehicle, you must stop 100 feet from the intersection and discharge from the firearm into the air to warn horse traffic. Dance laws may not operate on Sundays or dance halls. It is perfectly legal to beat your wife on the courthouse steps on Sunday. No work may be done on Sunday. Musical instruments may not be sold on Sunday. A person must be 18 years old to play a pinball machine. Performing a U-turn within 1,000 feet of an intersection is illegal. It is considered an offense to get a tattoo. It is illegal to display a Confederate flag. Now for our weather report. Our current weather data comes from the DCTV weather station located in the beautiful downtown Dove Creek. The current temperature is 50 degrees. The high for today was 51 degrees. The low was 30 degrees. The barometer is at 30.0 inches and is falling. Humidity is at 73%. Wind is between 1 and 3 miles per hour from the northwest. Gusts have been up to 27 miles per hour. There were no hundreds of moisture melted today in DCTV weather station. Moisture for the month is 200ths of an inch. Moisture accumulation for the year is 2800ths of an inch. Now for the big map, courtesy of the National Weather Service. Northern Washington has snow. Rain is falling along the coast of Washington and Oregon. Rain mixed with snow is coming down inland from Washington and Oregon coast. Rain is falling in the southern California and both sides of the border between Kansas and Oklahoma. Rain mixed with snow is found in South Utah and northern Arizona. Snow is falling from southwest Colorado. Rain and severe thunderstorms begin in Mexico and travel across the state to Kansas, Arkansas, and Texas. More rain and severe thunderstorms begin in South Louisiana and travel across the south into and end in the Atlantic. Snow is coming from Maine into New York. In Central Florida, the Central Florida coast has some rain. And here is our exclusive DCTV 5-day forecast. Tuesday, chance of rain, high. Chance of snow/rain, high 47, low 31. Wednesday, chance of snow/rain, high 34, low 20. Thursday, partly cloudy, high 34, low 15. Friday, mostly sunny, high 39, low 22. Saturday, mostly sunny, high 43, low 25. Now we present you the SNOTO report, which is the amount of snowpack in the mountains across the state. We hope it will be helpful for our farmers and our skiers statewide. The snowpack is 122% of normal. Here in the Southwest, we only have 142% of normal. Now for the climate change report. CO2, carbon dioxide, is considered a greenhouse gas and is one of the principal causes of climate change. CO2 traps heat in the atmosphere, which causes climate instability. This results in significant variations worldwide of moisture and hot and cool temperatures. But the general climate trend of the planet is slowly warming. Therefore, it is important that we report the CO2 weekly change. The following are the CO2 numbers in parts per million. Last week, 412.4. 2 weeks ago, 410.98. Last year, 408.78. 10 years ago, 388.42. 50 years ago, 325.64. Thank you, Dr. Peters Hansen, National Oceanographic Atmospheric Administration, and Michael Muggy of the Stu2.Earth Network for providing this information. Remember, you can help keep our kids' new show on air by buying a sponsorship. To become a sponsor, just call 970-677-4119. That's 970-677-4119. Thank you. Now back to the news director.
And that's the end of today's DCTV 4-H news program. This is your news director, LL Scrambled M, saying good night and thank you for watching.